Where is everybody at? It's Sunday. I want everybody home. Are you guys ready? Yes, I am fired up. I am fired up. I cannot wait. Bring it on, everybody. Log in. Make sure I sound right. We are here again. Sunday. Sister Binto is here with her big smile as usual. The reason I smile because I'm grateful about things that we take for granted. Just to wake up. We take it for granted sometimes. I don't. That's why I always smile. Guess who we have here? Oh boy. Our founding fathers of security is here. He is a legend. He is a legend. He is here. Who else to bring apart from the main man here? We have our uncle, your father, but my uncle. Yes, Fofana's uncle too. Gambia, respect. That's what we know. What Jaliba said, Iba fulama, faya kumandi iba. Ifa fulama, faya kumandi ifa. Ifa doma, nko ntolonga bunyani horomolelo. Yes, we are up and running again. Binto Bantaba Network. I am fired up. We are live. Yes, Kujabi. Thank you. We are here. We are ready. I am fired up. Fofana is fired up. We are ready to go. We have our special guest. Today we will not waste any time. It's raining heavily over here on my side. Just pray. We can do this because we have a legend in the building. We cannot afford any glitch, any echo. Just let me know. Yes, we have our special guest. We have our special guest. I will bring him in. I mean, he will tell you everything from A to Z. That's why we are here with him. When it comes to security, today we will focus more on security. If you are concerned about Gambia's state of security right now, join us. Please share the information. Follow our page. If you're on YouTube, give us a shout out. Thank you, Jaliba. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I am fired up. I am ready. We have our special guest. Uncle Sam Sarr is in the building. Uncle Samsudeen Sarr. He's a retired colonel, former ambassador to the United Nations. I mean, he is it. We are here. So, Fofana.
Yes, Binto.
Fofana, we have a special guest today.
Thank you, Binto. Your Excellency.
Yes.
The Gambian former ambassador to the United Nations and retired Colonel Samsudeen Sarr to Binto Bantaba.
That's how we, yes. Thank you, Uncle. This platform, we call ourselves grassroots. We don't have all the education maybe that will be required. That's the reason we create this little platform as a university. People like you to come and educate us. Today you are a lecturer and we will listen to you. We will give you all our ears. It will not go, you know how your grandma will say, I'm talking to you, and when I speak on this ear, it goes out to the other ear. We will not do that. It's going to go to both ears, okay? You are welcome to Binto Bantaba Network.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Binto.
Yes.
Network, Mr. Fofana, Binta. Glad to be here, and let's do it.
Yes. Uncle Sam Sarr, we want you to tell us who Honorable Samsudeen Sarr is.
Yes, Samsudeen Sarr is a small guy from town of Serakunda. I was born in Serakunda, and I grew up there. You know, did all my schooling based on Serakunda. Eventually became a teacher. Started as a teacher, and qualified teacher for that matter. Taught at Linden Secondary Technical School and Secondary Technical School. And
can you guys hear him well? Let me know. We just want to make sure you hear him well. Go ahead.
Clear.
Okay, say it again.
I see. Am I being heard? Am I coming clear?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. They will let me know.
Okay, good. So, like I said, in the 80s, I left the Gambia for America to studies. Agricultural engineering, associate degree, things are helped. I came back home, looking for sponsorship to continue education. I wanted to speak for about 2 years. They even hired me. I was just waiting for holidays and to go and go to Gambia High School to teach. But then someday, I was just I went to the military camp to find whether they have an engineering program because it was a new one formed in 1984. I just came back in 1985. And when I arrived there, I found the British Army training team led by Major Ken Wright. And I told him my intention of joining the army. They have an engineering program.
Sir, Uncle Sir, can you take the headphone off and see if that will be more loud and clear?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not having any.
It has nothing to do with it?
No, it hasn't.
Okay, go ahead. You can put it on.
Unless I can perhaps take another headphone that could be connected straight to the computer. If you don't mind, can I do that?
Okay. Yes, let's try that and see. Let's try that and see. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that and see. We are trying to make sure that you can hear him. It's Gambia connection. And it's raining heavily on my side. We don't want to lose this opportunity. We don't want to lose this opportunity.
Definitely. Let him try. Yes.
But he's coming back. We are fired up. We want to talk about the current state of security in the Gambia. It's very important. That will be our topic. Any portion that we can talk about security, he's the main man. Yes. Fofana, Binto Bantaba Network, you were not here last week, but your followers missed you.
Yeah, definitely. And I was following you online. Definitely. You had a very good discussion with Lamin Jamba and Keksane. Yes. I learned through the media that Keks was kidnapped. I don't know how true it is. Is it true?
Yes, that's what I heard too. But we are sorry because that's why we should be here today, Fofana. That's why we should be here today, because our security topic is the main topic. Before somebody get kidnapped, Keks get kidnapped, it could be me next. It could be somebody else next. It could be somebody else's daughter. So security is very important. If we can bring the main man like Samsudeen Sarr to discuss, I think the government will be interested to hear what he's going to say.
Definitely.
The government and the people. It's not just the government alone. We should play our own role too when it comes to security. Secure yourself, secure your family before you secure your neighbor. So we should secure ourselves. So security is going to be very important discussion, and he is
definitely coming up. Samsudeen Sarr was there in the army since the inception, so he has a wealth of knowledge, in Gambia security.
Okay, hold on.
I think
you hear me.
Yes.
Yes, we cannot see your head. Can you put it down a little? Your thing. Yeah. Yes, there you are. Can you? Yes.
So how do I sound now?
It's very clear now.
It's very clear. It's very clear. Fofana, we cannot see you up. You kind of slide down.
Okay.
Yes, everybody is ready.
Okay.
Honorable Sarr.
Yes.
Fofana was saying something about you, very important. Fofana, I want you to continue saying that before he comes back and start over.
Yes, I said, Samsudeen Sarr was there since the inception of the Gambian National Army. So having Samsudeen Sarr on our platform is a great deal. He has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to security in the Gambia. So Samsudeen, we don't have much knowledge about security. We are going to allow you to lead us into what Gambia can do to better our security situation. Because when you look at things, how things are unfolding in our country nowadays, it's very scary. It's like security is crumbling in the Gambia. So we would like you to lead us into that discussion. I think the government are following to make sure that they put security as their priority.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, Uncle Sarr, we want you to start over again. Who is Honorable Samsudeen Sarr?
Yes, I started with telling you that I am from Serekunda. I was born in Serekunda, raised in Serekunda, went to school in Serekunda, started my career as a school teacher, a trained school teacher, from Yundum College, Gambia College, and I started teaching at Pakalinding Secondary Technical School. Still, my students will tell me, even in the army, you taught me. And from there, I taught at Latrikunda School before I left the country in 1981 to study in the United States. And, I studied engineering, agricultural engineering, but I could only get an associate's degree because I was sponsoring myself full-time, going to pay as an international student. It was tough. And then so many events, culminated to my decision to come back home. And when I arrived, I thought, in fact, my initial idea was to get to the agriculture department because Gambia was purely agricultural. But then somehow I went to the education department and asked for sponsorship, but they said, in order to be sponsored, you have to teach for about 2 years. I was hired, I went to PMO, they interviewed me, and I was hired to start teaching, but in the process of waiting for the school holiday to end, I went to the army, and I found the British Army training team, newly set up. It was all gung-ho, very new, everybody was excited. And being from America, I said, probably what I used to see in America could evolve into a similar thing in the new Gambia Army. I don't mind being the pioneers of the engineering corps, if they have any. The British Army training team commander then, who was in charge, called Major Ken Wright, saw my credentials and say, wow, the engineering company is a small one. You cannot rise beyond the rank of a captain. But if you join the infantry, you could even be the army commander one day based on your education. And, I was like, I was not sure. He even wanted me that day to join their army. I said, no, I don't want to be a regular soldier. If I am to come in, I want to be an officer. So after, when I left, he took my everything and said he was going to invite me. They were going to get a cadet selection examination in the few weeks. I think they even, drew it nearer just to get me in.
Speed it up, yes.
Yeah, so I went and took the test, I passed, and I was recruited, and I was commissioned as a cadet officer. And soon after my basic training, I was sent to do infantry officer basic course in the United States of America. So Fort Benning, I completed the training, went to Fort Bragg, that's JFK Warfare Center, did some forgot the even name. But it all has to do with civilian, knowing the civil military course.
Yes.
Like civilian military relationship,
right.
Where you do law of the military, international law, and Geneva Convention, study, everything about it. So afterwards I came back, but then soon after I arrived, I was deployed to the Confederation Army. This was all in 1987. I went to the Confederation Army, where I served until September. The very day it ended, I was there. And the Senegalese withdrew, and we were in crisis. And that crisis really mushroomed into what really caused the 1994 coup d'etat. I am breaking it down into a generalized form. I'm not being specific yet, but that is exactly what happened. The day of the coup d'etat, I was at the State House, and I participated. I have been releasing some audios telling people how the events happened and my role that day, and later on, the repercussions of coup d'etat, its effect, which is something that it's not even taught in military institutions. Coup d'etat are not taught in military institutions, because it's a taboo that nobody talks about. But it is part of military reality, and any military could go into a situation that you are compelled to go into to wage a coup.
Yes.
Especially when politicians want to turn a country or a situation rendering the country ungovernable. It's the responsibility of the army to intervene, to stabilize, but not to seize power for their own good. This I always support, like what happened in Mali. It has happened in many countries where people, even Westerners, will encourage military intervention, like what is happening now in Venezuela. The Americans are trying to encourage the military to intervene and take out this guy. What's the name of the guy even in Venezuela again? I forgot. He took from Chavez. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. So in short,
is Maduro.
Yes. Maduro. Yes, that's true. Maduro. Yes.
Yeah.
And so this is how I got into the army. I always would say that when I was walking into Major Wright's office with my credentials, if I had known how tough it was to train as a soldier and be tuned up from a civilian life to a military, if I had seen it in the video, I was not going in. It was hard. It was hard. And you know what? Today is one of the best things I have done in my life, joining the military, because it really toughened me and put me through some most, tough and rough times. And now I sit back and say, I don't think life would have been meaningful to me if I had not gone through that rough and tough time.
Right.
And also gave me the discipline I need to pursue what I want and try to get it by all means possible to the end. I'm not afraid of anything, and I have run into death situations so many times where I would, for a moment, think that this is it. I'm not going to survive this.
Right.
And and I survived it.
We thank you for your service. We really appreciate your service. That's why we bring you here today, because you have a whole lot that you can teach us today. I just want to ask you, since you are in the Gambia, is the current state of security on the right track?
Well, I think that is a rhetorical question, Bintu. It is not. Okay. Everybody knows that. Everybody is crying about, the current situation in the country, and which is, a concern to not only the ordinary civilians, but even members of the security forces. Because somehow I think we let our guard down to a situation to an extent where we are losing control of the security situation of the country. Something similar to this happened in 1994, soon after 1994. That was around, by 1996, the security of the country had deteriorated to an extent where the criminals had almost taken over the streets. Because after the coup d'etat, the army was very aggressive very safe. More or less, when you had crisis in the streets, you know, if you don't mind, before long, you know that soldiers are involved. They were in the streets, so in their muscle power, carrying guns, beating up people, you know, because that's military regime, you know, and we were all into it new. We were trying to, you know, navigate into a new terrain, a new situation, and the criminals realized it and exploited it to an extent where the police fell back just now. They wouldn't go out in the streets because often when there is a crisis, there's a soldier, they go back. But there was this particular day when AK-47 was used to rob the house compound of I think was a Lebanese. They shot at the house, you know, chased the white man and took away a safe. And that was like, whoa, this is gone beyond. That was the first armed robbery. And nobody knew where that gun came from because civilians conducted the armed robbery. But later on, upon investigating, we realized that they took it from a soldier who was just another rogue bad guy, you know, with the expectation of getting money from these guys after conducting their robbery. So I remember Jame that day called us in his office and said that he was going to fire all the senior officers in the army, sorry, in the police force, and replace them with a military commander, and that was Major Ann. They wanted Major Ann to go there, but we begged him and said, no, Major Ann has never done any police duties. This is about law and order. He's a soldier. Let's look at a solution. Then we brainstormed there, and of course, with his guidance, we came with a proposal to get the police back their confidence to go back in the streets. And we did it by organizing a joint operation for about 1 month, where the police, NIA, and the army, we set up a headquarters. And the police headquarters linked to the army headquarters and the NIA. And we will go out every night together with the police on patrol, where they take the lead role and we back them up. And they had checkpoints at all strategic locations in the urban area. And we will make it static. Sometimes we make it mobile. We snapshot, and then, you know, it was great. Then it was beautiful. Every night we will capture so many bad guys. And not only that, we realized that 90% of drivers, taxi drivers, didn't even have driver's license. You know, and they carried criminals.
Yeah.
And we busted the whole system. You know, by the time we took 1 month, I think we had arrested over 50 cars that were not registered. They were illegal, and every night we got them. They had thieves, criminals, and so on. And, you know, and they will see the police. If anybody try to do anything, you turn around, you see soldiers behind them.
Yes.
The police conduct the whole police duties, and we give them the backup, and they yield easily. Nobody resisted. Now, police cannot do that, because if they do, the criminals will fight them.
Yes.
You know? So that was one thing. And we were communicating constantly from one headquarters to another headquarters. And guess what? We solved that problem. We solved it. And the police went back to the streets. And we started the patrol duties from that day. That the patrol duties, you know, new pickups. We had all over the country, you know, from Yundum, Farafenye, Kartong. We would patrol the country at night constantly. You don't know where a military vehicle will pop out at night. So the streets were under control. And I remember that is what even saved us. 1997, when these guys attacked Kartong and, you know, like overwhelmed our troops, seized all our ammunitions, put them in a vehicle like ambulance, and we are coming to mile 2 to open it up and use the men over there, those who are weapon savvy, to start a fight. You know, this was Alef Jame, Jaju, Sajakali, and Ba.
So is that what you're trying to recommend for the government to do now, to get the soldiers out on the street to empower the police officers?
I they could start as the way I look at it. We have to start restoring this confidence to the security forces, which they have lost seriously. Okay. And thanks to the TRRC. The TRRC contributed tremendously in weakening the soldiers, security men, and
demoralizing
their confidence. Yeah,
I said demoralizing.
Demoralizing them. I just read a paper. In fact, it is written by, they said, Nelson Mandela. I in fact I copied it and posted in my page, my Facebook page. If you read it, and he was explaining about after his release from jail, this special day he had lunch with former enemies and friends, and they were together sitting in a restaurant. And there was this one particular officer who was sitting back from him, and he looked at him and said, "Can you call him to come and sit with us and eat?" So they ate together, and but the next man sitting to Mandela later realized that the guy was so nervous and was trembling throughout, and he thought the guy was sick. So when they left, he told Mandela, "I think this guy is sick," because this guy was shaking all over. He said, "No, he's not sick. He's just guilty. Because you know what? When I was in Robben Island, after being seriously tortured, and I wanted something to drink and ask for water, this guy will come and pee on my head." And now he thinks that, I am going to pay back. And they said, but what he doesn't understand is that, revenge breaks nations. Now forgiving is what builds nations. I have forgiven him, and it's a history that we know it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to hold him responsible because the institution created him. That institution is gone. We should move forward and forgive each other.
Right. We will get to the TRRC in a little bit. Yes. Fofana, go ahead.
I want Mr. Sarr to help us understand the immunity clauses in the 1997 Constitution. And do you think it should protect the perpetrators?
Fofana, hold on, because I'm yet to talk about this security sector reform. Let's do that one a little bit later on. Sarr, we just want you to give us a brief understanding of this security sector reform, if we even need it. If we need it, how do you think the government should go about it?
I don't think we need the type of security sector reform they are trying to sell us, because that is so unrealistic. That up to this day, they cannot show us anything constructive, regardless of the number of years spent in trying to create one. Because it was not premised on a truthful foundation. Like in the beginning, the reason they brought up all the security reform issue originated from the United Nations. Because the impression there, when I was there, was given that the Gambia Army, in fact, the Gambia Police Force, the NIA, the junglers, were predominantly MFDC rebels. And the intention was, to come and wage war. It was like war, because they thought the MFD rebels were not going to easily walk out of the Gambia without being chased or killed. And that is why Macky Sall was so excited about waging war. That's why I hate him to the bottom of my heart. That this guy was reckless, the guy was stupid, he was adventurous, he doesn't know what he was doing. And he was just pushed by foreign powers. They would have done to the Gambia what they did in Libya, or worse. They would have come and killed innocent Gambians, and every dead person will be counted counted as an MFDC rebel. Thank God there was no resistance. We opened up the doors. So that was failure number one. There was no war to kill the resisting MFDC rebels. So the next thing was, let's look at the members of the armed forces and weed out the MFDC rebels or chase them, send them to go home. That's what another part of the security sector reform. They came, there was none. And everybody is still looking for them. It's just like the weapon of mass destruction in Iraq. They attacked Iraq, killed so many people, started looking for them. It never existed. And, you know, America is still being blamed. In fact, Colin Powell left the Republican Party because of that mess they put him in. So, you know, but they still wanted to create it. And they did not know. In fact, Sidat Job, I understand, one time said at a forum in Senegal that in Gambia, when you go to a checkpoint, security checkpoint, when you speak, all of them don't understand Mandinka, they don't understand English, they don't understand. They only understand Jola and French. They were all lies. So, you know, when you want to build, you know, a story of a foundation of lies, it doesn't last, you know. So what happened was, still they want to create security sector reform. Now they started with the junglers, I almost even believed that when I was in America, because I was away for too long, that the junglers were MFDC rebels and they are running around killing people. It is now, I understand that the junglers is a byproduct of the patrol team we created to secure the nation. You know, of course, by the time they started it in 2003, you know, Gambia had faced so many threats from Senegal that they created people who were ready to be extreme when they get you. Because when they attack Farafenni, they attack Katong, you know, we arrested them, treated them humanely, in fact, jailed them, and some of them were even released later, all of them. You know, so, you know, you had to be tough on these rebels and these mercenaries. And Senegal was relentless in trying to topple the government. So I think that is what created the junglers, who were all Gambians. And I love their stand in defending the nation. A lot of what they are talking about, trying to tarnish their image, it doesn't tell well to me. So anyway, I'm going too much into them. But what I want to say is that the security sector reform cannot be done because there is nothing that is true about why it was to be done, including that even they said all the generals, all the colonels, all these people were promoted prematurely or without even the competence necessary to promote them. You know, who has the yardstick to measure the competence of your security forces? We go to military schools to learn to adapt to the threat we are faced in our nations. You know, and not that I will learn how America runs this military and run it the same way the Gambia should run its military. It's stupidity if you say that. In Guinea-Bissau, there was war. Ansumana Mane was one of the greatest fighters. One American soldier once told me he was one of the best strategists. This guy couldn't even read or write. To Esafal, that guy is not supposed to even carry a rank because he cannot read or write. But that doesn't, what matters is he is doing the job of what a general does and do it even better than the general who probably just know the theory and has never done the practice. So Gambia's situation was unique. Since the inception of military in the country, we had the same kind of military setup organization as Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and all these West African countries, including Senegal, colonial military sector. After Second World War in 1959, the British disintegrated that military. You know, the Gambia company that went to Second World War and said Gambia didn't need military. They created the field force, you know. And since that time, trust me, Binta, we have never had Gambians running the security of this country when it comes to military. It was the British. After the British This, after the British, we had Kukoi. The Senegalese came. After the Senegalese, in fact, we tried the Ghanaians at first. It didn't work. Then the British came back again. It didn't work. They brought the Nigerians. Finally, they toppled them. And for the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambians ran their own security outfit. We manage our own security advice, do our own advice, consult each other when there is crisis. Nothing like what is the British saying on when we face problems, we solve it. When there is a major problem, we sit down and work out solutions. When Khartoum was attacked 4 a.m., we got up and assembled at Jimpex and discussed what to do from there.
So are you saying that Barrow, we don't need any security sector reform at all? Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying is, if we are dependent on us, because what is the security sector reform about? Now, other than bringing foreign troops, relying more on them than the Gambian troops. That's what happened throughout Jawara and all those things. And that's what ended Jawara's regime. What is the essence? Because it looks like we are pushing this and it's going to be indefinite. Because the objective of a security sector reform in the way they define it is not there. It's not there. There is no threat to, or there is no disruption of our security outfit to have a reform that will make a serious difference from what had already prevailed and could have been adjusted to do a better job. Oh yes, times have changed, but we can adjust to the modern situation.
Okay.
Jame, for 22 years, ran a beautiful security outfit, not only taking care of the internal security of the nation. I was at the UN. One of the nations being best, renowned for being international peacekeepers was Gambia. They will tell you Gambia has the best peacekeepers because of their discipline. They are not, wild and unruly as other countries who come and drink, rape children. They came, did their job, pray, and are very obedient and kept to their mission perfectly and go. They are the best, to be honest with you.
Okay. Fofana, you go ahead.
Okay, Bingo, let's look at the Gambia security. Gambia's police force have a history of heavily handling protests. What do you think is responsible for this? Is it lack of training or equipment?
Say that again. Can you repeat that again? The Gambia police force?
They have a history of heavily handling protests.
For example?
For example, at Faraba.
Protesters, Faraba.
Where we lose people. Is it that the lack of training or equipment? Because anywhere they go, when there is protest, they overdo things. Sometimes people are injured, some are killed. We don't understand what is responsible for that.
Yeah, okay, well, the Faraba situation, that was a tactical mistake. Because I think they probably underestimated, the intelligence on the ground underestimated the magnitude of the problem. In that, it was, of course, civilians, but these were organized civilians. They were determined to effect a change, and in doing so, they should have anticipated the type of confrontation the security forces faced that day, and match it with equal power or above power. In fact, military strategy is, if you are facing 10, try to go with 100. If you are facing 20, try to go with 200. You should always have the edge over the persons you are facing. But they did not. If they had assembled the right number of police officers, and I think they had the right amount of years, because I have seen them, I don't know whether it was after or before, but I have seen the police after the transition being trained in riot control gear, civil disobedience, with new equipment, buttons, tear gas, and so on. But guess what? When they were sending these kids to Faraba, they did not give them any equipment that has or civil disobedience. They gave them AK-47s. They gave them AK-47, which is for war. AK-47 should not be deployed in the streets. We are still doing that. And not only that, but the number was way lower than the force they were facing. And when you give me AK-47 and send me to any mission, you are telling me that if I am cornered, I can use it.
You can use it.
They gave them AK-47, gave them the rounds. So when this youth came and overwhelmed them, they did not know what to do. It turned out at the end to be self-defense, because they were going to beat them up, or some, I understand, even ran away, but others resisted. Because it turns into not a deliberate action, but impulsive action. You are a threat, you are facing me, I say stop, and I know if I don't stop you, I could die, I'll open fire. That's human nature. It's not about soldier or anything. So it was a tactical mistake by the police department, which I also think was merely incompetence that caused that. I don't blame the police for that. And not only that, but in events where they try to be tough, you just have to use the minimum force necessary, to stop any crisis.
Yeah, even other protests that happen in the country, not necessarily just Faraba alone. Faraba they killed, but other places too. There are certain harsh things that happened. So we don't know. The tear gas. Sometimes we the civilians think it's not necessary to use serious tear gas.
Yes.
Like in Brikama, what happened in Brikama, they were doing this at the market, and women were having trouble with this. The tear gas. Yes.
Even recently in Sanyang, they use they tear gas people seriously.
Yeah, not necessarily killing them, but there are certain forces we the civilians think that it shouldn't be that of a necessity.
Yeah, like I said, you see, to be honest with you, I don't want to give you a definitive method of approaching every crisis, or crisis that I am not privy to their circumstances or the situation that there is. But if I were there, and because I will study my intelligence as a commander, and see what minimum force I need to do, not excessive, to control the situation. But like when situations also degenerate to where things are going out of control, or a state is even going ungovernable, sometimes you use what is interpreted as excessive force when it may not. It's just proportional force.
Okay.
Like if you look at the fact that they burned down the mill, they burned down the police station, they burned down the houses of the fishermen, their vessels, their ship, their nets, and so on. That was really extreme. If there is any other way you could stop it, you should. But if for instance the intelligence was not good, then the response will not be effective.
Okay.
And so that is why, to be honest with you, I don't want to just think that I knew better.
Okay.
So I know better. And that's those who were there to appreciate the situation, and I have not. If I am, privy to the facts, then I could have told you this was excessive, this was not.
Not okay.
Okay. What will be your message to the government to put the necessary logistics for the security institutions in the Gambia?
Still, I want to restore the confidence of the security forces.
Okay.
That's my main concern. You got to restore the confidence of the security forces, which I think has been undercut by the TRRC seriously. And the process is continuing. You cannot build the type of security forces I need in this country with SFL and others every day coming to tell them you are stupid, you are useless, you are brutes, you are inefficient, you should be subjected to jail, and the whole 9 yards of demoralizing them. Perhaps after the TRRC, the Gambia government can sit down and restore the confidence of the security forces and tell them that, look, we have a stake in stabilizing this nation, keeping the country orderly, in peace and security, because if, as President Adam Barrow, if I lose it, you may lose it as well. If the members of the security forces see it like that, they will not even wait for Adam Barrow to give them orders. They will act when they see bad things happening. I remember there was a time when, there was this guy who used to throw stones at sitting corner, at night when vehicles are driving at night. It will just bust through their mirrors, windscreen, and injure people. And people thought it was some witch or some demons that was doing that. That there were demons at night, they will just crash through your windscreen. I remember I have taken my time with few guys at night. We walk around sitting corner about midnight to see whether we can see this guy, because we knew it was a human being, but we did not. But there was this day, Sergeant Jata was taking food to Banjul in one of the pickup trucks and came up to sitting corner, and he threw a block on right through this windscreen and busted his head, and he died.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the sergeant died, and it was like, whoa, what happened? In fact, I remember Naisise, he was the immigration head department head. Yes, he told me one day that they came up to that place and they crashed through the side of the window, and the driver wanted to stop, but everybody was screaming, don't stop. He said, which? He said, so they ran away. Nobody could see. There were about 6 security men who could have stopped and probably captured the guy, but everybody thought it was a Gino days. Yes. Since the Senegalese days, they thought there were Guineas at sitting corner. In fact, I even once suggested to Jame that we should build a military post there, a gendarmerie post, to just dispel this idea that there are Ginos, these are humans. Ginos don't invade human territory like that. But this guy went home that night when he crashed and started boasting that he destroyed a vehicle that just now are sitting corner. On the whole, he was a madman. Yeah. He was a madman. And the family members were who arrested him and brought him. He saying that he crashed some window of some soldiers. And that is when they knew that the soldier has died. And what could we do?
So, but to take you back to the police issue, some Gambians even said the security also complained that Gambians are not respecting them. They don't respect them at all.
Yeah, because why do you think they are not respected? Because they look like fools and stupid people at the TRRC. There is no respect. Before you could wear the uniform and walk in town, and they say, but everybody is afraid. I know it's an officer who told me that they discuss among themselves that if they run into a situation where there is resistance, they are not responsible for their actions. Senior officers telling the junior ones, they are not responsible for their actions if they do anything out of the ordinary. So the best way is withdraw, don't kill yourself, don't try anything, just let it go and let nature take its own course. But people are afraid.
That is scary. That is scary. That will lead to lawlessness.
That's a serious issue. Yes, that's a serious situation. If the senior officers will, but Jammeh's time too. We think the uniform people mishandle us. They do.
In what way?
Well, you get arrested, you get whooped, even it's not that of a necessity. Just like the TRRC, things are coming out too. So it's not everything we can say about the TRRC. It's not true.
Well, you see, I question a lot about TRRC.
Okay.
Because on the oath, everybody explains the same incident differently. and like half the junglers who were arrested, some of the junglers who were arrested and kept in jail for 3 years were asked to come and say things that others who are still in jail say it didn't happen the way they want them to explain it. So your ticket to go home is to come before the TRRC and explain the way the TRRC wants you to explain it. So I don't know how factual that is. After you imprison me for 3 years, and you give me the only option, you did not give me a lawyer, you did not give me an independent, witness to come and even be present when I am testifying. You did not allow me to see a judge. Nobody. You just take me to jail and say you are here indefinitely. No call. And then you stay there for 3 years, not knowing whenever you are going to, in a so-called democratic state, that things have changed, never again. And then one day you just said, okay, come. In order to leave this place, see your family again, probably even family members, some have died. In fact, I understand there is one jungler, when he came out, all his wives left him. He is abandoned. People are, and then they say, come and say this and you go home. I don't think that evidence is really tenable anywhere or dependable as factual. And there are others who are still in jail saying that, look, I believe in God. I have my conscience. What you want me to tell is not true. I would rather die here than come out and lie about things that I don't know do. And they're still there. So I don't know, when you start telling me what they have said at the TRRC should be taken as the gospel truth of what exactly happened. I mean, like, I put a big question mark on that.
To that.
So
in fact, let's go straight to the TRRC. I just want to hear your view. We just want to hear your view. The establishment of the TRRC and their mandate.
Yes, the intent was good. I think the intention was good. The first days when it started, SFL, whom I read, barely had little about, came and sounded very impressive. Impressed the whole world. Established fans club, thousands of people. That's the greatest guy. Perfect prosecutorial skills, has a good command of the English language, which are very intimidating and very seductive to Gambians. But then, because I was directly affected, I think I withdrew from that. I refused to drink the Kool-Aid and started scrutinizing what he's doing and his intentions. Of course, it's been made clear that it was nothing about what Jammeh did right, but everything that Jammeh did wrong, which is not a good starter, because so many people still believe that Jammeh did extremely good things as well in this country, and which cannot be ignored in the face of any bad thing he has done. In fact, people even think that the good things he did outweigh the bad things he did. So to come and just try to shove it into the hearts of the Gambians that he did nothing but bad things, undermine the mandate and the intent of the TRRC. And if you look at the way it evolved, instead of having the effect they desired, it is having the reverse. Instead of unpopularizing Jammeh, they are popularizing Jammeh. Jammeh is getting more popular because now, in the beginning, people did not even know how to question the TRRC. Eventually, they started saying, oh, these people are lying. Oh, the lies are too much now. Oh, this is all lies now. It evolved like that, to an extent where people are turning back and say, whoa, Jammeh is better than this. We can't believe in this. Somebody tells me that now SFL goes around in town with bodyguards given to him from the PRU. I don't know how true it is. If it comes to that, boy, oh boy, what you are doing is not right. What you are doing is not right. You should be free to walk in the streets and know that you are helping the Gambia instead of hurting the Gambia. But this guy is hurting the Gambia. And, like That's why I said, unless we, the TRRC, and look at our condition, our situation again, we will not be able to get a very good security outfit in this country. I have read somewhere, excuse me, just me land there. I have read somewhere that the way I was thinking is like ECOMIC should have stopped at some point. ECOMIC, the mandate of ECOMIC and all that should have been brought to the National Assembly. We know what they are doing, how far they are going. We don't. But now we are looking at, they say, a West African police force now coming after ECOMIC in 2022, which is predominantly Francophone countries, to police the country. That was before the crisis of Senegal. Now I am beginning to feel that Senegal may even need that police force better than Gambia come 2021, 22. So, but then where are we going with this? Because the longer we depend on foreign forces, the more addicted we are on that dependency. Because in the end, we just lay our guards down. Jawara in the end laid his guards down. Even when all the signals were coming that his government is doomed and is about to crash, he just felt, well, the Nigerians will protect me. The Nigerians will protect me, until it fell apart. So this is why I think I blame the TRRC a lot.
Yes. Are you against the TRRC completely, or are you against the security people sitting on the TRRC? The military, the police. Is that what you are against? What particular thing are you against the TRRC?
You see, like, I am against the TRRC in the sense that most of people who come there don't tell us the real truth of what we should of which we should believe in. Because somebody, like I said, will come and describe the same situation differently from the other, or the same event differently from the other, and all of them will take a Bible or Quran and swear. Everybody is an innocent person. The other person is my peers, my superiors, or the person who was bad and wrong, but I was good. Anyway, because I was present and I did not do anything to stop it, I am apologizing. But the rest deserve to be punished. That's not realistic. And that's the way that's what I'm seeing. Every officer who came, or every soldier, basically those who come to even claim victimhood, try to blame the others and not themselves. And that essentially, makes me feel that the objective will never be realized. That is why I even have been recently writing that they should have started lie detector tests rather than the Quran or anything. If you are sure of what you are talking about, go through the lie detector test. You are hooked up, and we will know whether you are telling the truth or not. This is scientific. But the Quran or the Bible, I don't know who's telling the facts, and I don't think they will achieve their objective, Binta. I don't, because the facts are hidden. Are you sure of? Let's take one scenario about the migrants. Everybody has come and told a different story from the other about the migrants. To me, my assessment is, I want to leave it to what the UN fact-finding mission said, that there were rogue elements of the security forces who did bad things. It's not the junglers. When they talk about rogue elements of the security forces, we are talking about the heavyweights who were on top there and knew something that they are still hiding. Because when they come to this TRRC, the junglers, the blah, 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 but everybody is still hiding something of his role in the whole thing. But Amady Diallo, he came and said, when he saw the dead bodies at Brufut, collected them, took them to the morgue, searched their pockets, took out money from their pockets, their money, wrapped it and put it on their chest. Police officers who said they first found them said they were all searched and their pockets were all out. Nothing was there in their pockets. So who's telling the truth, the boss or the genius? So you see, these are things that make me feel that both the bosses and the genius are hiding something that, if they reveal it, will prove what the United Nations found in the Gambia, there were rogue elements who were involved in this. That is what I'm trying to talk about. That's why I have doubt over whether they are going to achieve anything realistic from what I have seen so far. You know, and I don't know whether that's a satisfactory answer, but that's the way I see it, lady.
Well, some Gambians also said those security people that are the security officers that were adversely mentioned at the TRRC should be sacked from their job, should be released from their duty.
Then you will sack almost everybody in the hierarchy now, in the top echelon now, because they were all there. You know, you cannot even exempt, like, how could you exempt like Yankuba Drame, Masani Kinte? All those people were part of the system. When every bad thing you're talking about was being talked about. If the armed forces, the strongest branch of the security outfit, sits back and pretend not to have known what was going on in the services, you know, then they were one very incompetent, or they are just insincere. They are not telling the truth. Yeah, because I remember, you know, I mean, like, Masane Kinto used to go to Kaninlai. We used to see him there in Jame's farm, farming until sweat and, you know, Kanyaling, you know, dance and, you know, with the soldiers. Yankuba Drame. I remember until 2006 election, wherever Jame stands, he stands. Where he sits, he was like a bodyguard to him. So for them to now tell us that these are the decent people, any other person is not right. No, this is selective justice. They look at probably the Jolas and feel they are Jame. Let's get rid of them. You know, I broke the, you know, Guinness World Record. I was the first to be fired after 2016. You know? I was the first to be fired because, you know, like, they cannot control me. Nobody can manage me. I am not the one who's going to come and say, oh, yeah, Jame, I went to jail. I was incarcerated for 10 months. I was sacked. I was everything. But I could process it and reason it as coup d'etat military government. They are some of the baggages that come with it. But people, and I said it everywhere, but people hang around. They stayed. You know, Harry Samu said, Jame was a bad guy. He was evil. He said, but hey,
are you supporting Jame? Are you supporting Jame in a military way, or are you supporting Jame just because you like Jame?
No, it is not a matter of liking Jame. It is not a matter of military. I just want to look at justice. You know, when you look at justice, you know, you are not going to see a soldier, you don't see a friend, you don't see a tribe, you don't see anything. I used to tell my kids in America, we were in one of the most dangerous cities, it's Newark, you know, shooting, drugs, and so on. And I will tell them, the day anybody is reported for committing a crime in the streets, whether it's drug dealing or shooting, I will hand you over to the police.
Okay.
You know, so I have nothing to support Jame for. People even are saying that he paid me a lot of money. You know that. You know. But
do you want to say that Jame did not do anything wrong? Or you will Jame,
who has, look, governments, they do wrong. However perfect you are. Turn to America. You want to tell me George Bush, Trump just recently, even Obama, with all his sin, who did a lot of wrongs. These are third world countries. We are learning, you know, and military governments, as I said, did some of the greatest errors in the world, but they were tolerated. They existed, accepted, and they were treated as normal governments. You know, you go to Senegal now, who would have thought that Senegal will overnight, within this past month or two, showed us that Macky Sall, the son of the darling of the West, is a monster who ordered people to go and shoot. And he is still trying to wriggle out of this mess. You know, he's not going to ever admit that he screwed up. He's going to keep on doing this. So I'm not saying Jame did not do wrong. Because like this guy's what's his name? Cherno Marena said the last time. He said, Jame, everything he did wrong, he did it on the advice of Gambians, on the recommendations of Gambians. Gambians reported, told him it is this, it is that, and he took his decisions based on that. So if he was bad, every Gambian was bad.
Okay.
I am not saying that he is perfect. He cannot be. I am not perfect. You know,
Okay.
so if I'm not perfect, nobody is perfect.
So Fofana, go ahead with your immunity question.
Yes, of course, Bintu, I want to ask Mr. Samsudeen Sarr about, he was representing Gambia at the United Nations.
Yes.
And we are hearing that there was an agreement between Jammeh, United Nations, ECOWAS, and AU before he left the source of the Gambia.
Okay.
There was any agreement between President Jammeh, United Nations, and ECOWAS?
Yes.
Before he left the Gambia?
They did. They formalized his departure to leave the country on very solid terms and conditions, and that he could come back at any time of his desire, and so many things. You know, there were so many things. Although most of them were violated by the coalition government on the basis that they were not a party to it. But Halifa Sallah, who was a representative and a spokesman of the coalition at the time, is aware of it, and he saw the document, and this agreement was there. You know, so now, but you know, that's what governments do. You know, governments can also, you know, violate the very things that they agree upon. You know, it has been happening since the dawn of history, violating treaties, you know, undermining each other. You know, they have said that America was, let me see, Saddam Hussein was at one time America's best friend when Iraq was fighting Iran, and they were on the side of Iraq. They turned out to eventually they went and killed him. So this is how governments operate. It's not to be narrowed down to a black and white little corner and things like that. But definitely this happened. To cut a long story short, there was an agreement.
There was an for his return too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Professor, let me ask this other question. Sir, we have civilians and officers that are very loyal to President Jammeh. Do you think when he comes back, it will pose any threat on our nation?
I don't think so, because Gambians are very peaceful in nature.
Okay.
And they want to also maintain peace and stability. It's one of those little countries that had gone to the brink of collapsing like other nations did, like Liberia, Sierra Leone, and all those nations, Libya. We had gone to the brink several times, but we at the end survived and continued our peace and tranquility, because we are very Islamic in nature, in that we are not violent. You know, most of those countries fell apart because most of them don't believe in what we believe in. You drink drunk, you know, you can beat your wife, you can do this, you can do that. No, that is not Gambia. 1981, at some point, everybody thought Gambia will never recover from this mess. Senegal came in, it was bloody. Over 1,000 Gambians were killed, you know, and the mass graves are there up to today's day. The Jawara regime never accounted for any single Gambian who died. But they went to Senegal and paid the 33 soldiers that they claimed to have been killed. I think they did not give the right number. There were more Senegalese who were killed, and paid them $1 million at that time, equivalent to almost $10 million now, for say compensation. But not a single Gambian has ever been traced or even his name written anywhere that he perished. In my street, I can name you 5 civil servants, businessmen who were killed by the rampage of Senegal that week. You know, at least we could have had a plaque like you have at the Washington Monument or at the Vietnam Monument and so on, where the dead people could be listed there. I know somebody whose daughter I am talking to recently His name should have been there. We remember them, that these were the Gambians who perished in a situation that they had no control over. We survived that. 1994, that was also the brink. Thank God we did not start a fight, because up to the time the coup d'etat ended, people thought it was a military exercise. The looters did not do what they did in 1981 when they heard that it was a coup, and everything was orderly. The coup started at 8 o'clock. By 2 o'clock, it was over. But in 2016, 17, we also faced a similar situation where Macky Sall had sent this imbecilic general called General Farns Wanjai, who said that he was giving orders to turn Gambia into rubble if Jammeh did not leave, thinking that the MFDC was going to pose a resistance and they were not going to care for any Gambian life. Thank God, Jammeh left and they walked in and the soldiers welcomed them. Guess what? They even organized a banquet for them when they came. I'm serious. The officers, they organized a banquet, welcomed them, gave them food, drinks, and they chat and realized that these were not MFDC, but Gambians. These were not Jolas, but Wolof, Fulas, Mandinka, a combination of all tribes in the Gambia like they have in Senegal. So we also survived that hurdle. So this is what I think is saving us. And if Jammeh comes, if he realizes that it is going to pose a threat to the stability of the nation, he will walk right back out of this country. Okay. Trust me, he will do that. Because he left avoiding it. He will not come to cause it again. If he smells it and even is warned before arrival that if you come, this could happen, and it is genuine, I'm talking about it is genuine and not on the stupid threat, then he will come in. If he comes as a civilized person and want to come and just be ordinary person, sit down at home, take care of his family, his business, and the people who love him, finally have a closure of a dream of seeing him again, and you want to come and just be a brutal person or trying to be a bully, let me go and get him, humiliate him, you might turn the Gambia into a situation worse than what we have seen in Senegal when Macky Sall did try to do the same thing to Sonko. Just try to bully him, show him I'm in charge of the power, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm sorry for that language. But, the Senegalese resisted. If they want to do that to him, the Gambians will resist. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Fofana, I'm robbing you today from your questions. You hold it up.
You are fired of
I am fired of Uncle C. I'm fired of I cannot just this man, you hold it just a minute because I'm sorry, Facebook. I am so sorry. I'm just robbing Ismail from all his questions.
Well.
Women are jealous. We are jealous. So we have uncle here between nephew and niece. So we niece want to take over. Let me talk to Facebook. Facebook, thank you all for coming in. We are happy you are here watching and listening, contributing on the side. Please, we demand the respect. We demand respect. Please, if you are listening to this conversation with Honorable Samsudeen, we call him Uncle Sam. Sam, please share the information. It's very important. Latecomers, please, when you come, take your time and listen. Fofana, hold on. Uncle, it's election year. It's election year. Security is our problem. That's why we brought it in today. Security in the Gambia. And if Jammeh should come this year, I'm not saying 2022, I'm saying anytime before December 30th, that threat, because we were told when former Minister Batambido said, when Jammeh stepped a foot in that country, he will be arrested. He is not there, but his job should continue. So, that's why I am just going back to this over and over. Will Jammeh cause any threat this year, 2021?
Okay, I don't think he would. And that's very unfortunate that Batambido would say that after a few weeks before, Adama Barrow went to Fonyi and told them that Jammeh can come back home and live as a normal citizen, as an ex-president, factoring the fact that if Jammeh is not treated the way he's supposed to be treated, he could face the same situation in the event he leaves tomorrow. So he was creating his own, good stuff. But after he said that, Bata Medu turned around and made that statement. I call that Yabate to the worst. Of course, yep, the president. Because I would have called Bata Medu and said, are you defying my statements publicly? At least consult me before you say this. But, that's what I am afraid of. I think in his heart and mind, Barrow would have opened the doors for Jammeh to come and sit in the Gambia and live as an ordinary person. But there are so many bad elements around him who are painting Jammeh as a existential threat to the security of the country, which he is not. I would have loved to go to even Equatorial Guinea and sit down and Jammeh. We discussed his coming back. I don't mind coming with him even in the Gambia to meet Adama Barrow, and we say, let's be Gambians again. He could do it. He could do it. This is a political mess that happened. Abdoulaye Wade had a similar situation in Senegal. And Macky Sall did it to Abdoulaye Wade's son and all. They have all reconciled. They've got to get together. It was worse. So why can't we do the same thing? There was no war in the country. It was a political impasse that, I think you need some water, Binta.
Yes, Binta needs some water.
You need to get water.
I got it.
It looks like
I get the water. I'm
exhausting you now.
Yes.
It's like I'm exhausting you now.
Today is my birthday. That's why I'm fired up. So I'm rubbing. It's my
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Bintu. Today is your birthday.
Yes, today is my birthday. That's why I'm fired up, Uncle.
Thank you. So this is what I am saying. Don't be scared. They said, a lot of philosophers, scholars have always said this. The worst fear is fear itself. Your worst fear, worst nightmare is fear. Your worst fear should be fear itself. Because we should avoid this this feeling that Jammeh's arrival in the country is a threat to the situation, to the country. Okay. No, I think it will even assure us we could all work together. And I don't care if he comes. We can all look at the security of the country and see, even if necessary, we can deal with Senegal to tell them, let's work together, if necessary. Let's work together. Because you also, Senegal, you are thinking that you are the most stable country in the world. The recent events in Senegal has really thrown everything in the garbage. You are not that secure, and you are not that stable, and you are still facing a serious threat that could destabilize your whole nation. And Gambia has been part of it. Why don't we work out something together? And then we work out something together. I believe we could do that.
Okay. You go ahead with your Senegal relationship. So I will back up because everybody is wishing me happy birthday.
I did not know. I should have started with that.
No, because I do not celebrate. When did Gambians even know their birthdays? Mamas, they used to say,
Yeah, I know. There are some tribes that don't give a heck about it. My mother didn't believe in that. My mother used to say, "Buldi wasa desi judu. Suñ ko dindi ja ligay suñ ko xamé bes bo kay la ligay."
Thank you. Okay, Fofana, go ahead.
Yes,
we will open the line. We will open the lines later. Just a few questions for Uncle Sarr. So, Fofana, go ahead.
Uncle, what do you say about the Senegalese officers in charge of presidential security?
Well, the same thing. I'm not glad about it, but what can I do about it? Because this is the same scenario I explained about what happened when Jawara depended on Senegalese entirely. The day the Senegalese withdraw in the Gambia, when at a time when the whole security of Jawara was in the hands of the Senegalese. ADC, protocol, bodyguards, arms, everybody was Senegalese. The day they withdrew, it was a hollow security mess. It was a shock. You know, that if Liberia hadn't happened the following year, 1990, I don't think Jawara would have survived 1990. Because we were confused, we were demoralized, and we did not know what to do. You know, and so I am afraid, I am hoping that a withdrawal of Senegalese forces, which I don't think is going to be possible, is not a similar security chaos, you know, which could happen. Because what happened if Macky Sall was to be removed tomorrow? Would the replacer, the person who replaces Macky Sall, be able to work the very same way he is working with Adama Barrow, agreeing on things that are known to only two of them, not known even to the nation, to the governments, to the national assemblies? Because the agreement between Adama Barrow and Macky Sall is only known to the two of them, not even the National Assembly. So with all this constitution, that should have been primary. Because if your security is not fixed, anything you build on is just fragile. Everything can collapse if the security fails tomorrow. You can throw away constitution and you continue. You can throw away TRRC, they continue. Jane Commission, they continue. But the day the security collapses, it's over. Everything you bank on will fall apart. Government will not happen. Anything will. So that is what I am afraid of. Or let's say Barrow is mortal. Barrow could have died yesterday or today. Who will continue with these Senegalese in the State House? Or whether what Senegal wants in Barrow, they will get in his successor. You know, this is why I'm not thrilled about, you know, foreign forces guarding or taking care of our president on an arrangement exclusive to the two heads of state, which happened between Jawara and Babangida in 1994 or 1992. Jawara and Babangida agreed, you know, together on the package of NATAC, which the government did not know about. So when things started rupturing, nobody could intervene to fix the problem until it coup d'etat came. So, you know, this is why, yes, this is why I don't want to. I'm sorry, 1 minute, I'm an interview. Oh, somebody is on the door. I have to.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, give me 1 second. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Fofana.
Yes.
Facebook, let me talk to Facebook. We will open the line. Just check under there. The number should be at the bottom. Nko, mang local language phono, we will apologize for that. Sometimes for Angalefo, for the benefit of others that cannot speak Mandinka, because Ndolka Mandinka kamalo fojang apart from English. So Uncle Sarr, atama Mandinka kamo moy pour ka fa express clearly. Ndafanang ntanim fo fana mansurwa kamo moy to express ourselves clearly. Media is very media man easy. So nita not a question for near question or didn't tell us ngafo in a wrong way. People will not understand. But no marseto ngafo ko sumalefin bi dama sohlali, no problem. But that doesn't mean that killing. So Kamo is not an issue. So please share this information. He's here, he's still here. We will open the line just in few seconds. We will open the line. Okay. Fofana, go ahead.
What Mr. Sarr is saying is like Gambians don't understand the security agreement between Senegal and Gambia. So that is very scary. It is only known to the president, the two presidents, which, you know, is to our understanding, is not correct. Gambians should be very aware of the security agreement between the two nations. Because we are seeing them occupying our state house. We don't know what is their agreement. In this generation, no country will allow foreign forces to occupy your state house.
But
know.
I will be against that point a little bit. I will also say, Uncle, I will also say to Fofana, because so many security officers are loyal to the President Jammeh, it's most likely he's afraid.
That is not definitive.
Okay.
Yes, you are just saying it out of probably the conventional wisdom.
Okay.
That security, most of the security, it's not. You know what these officers are loyal to?
Mm-hmm.
The jealousy and their money that will take care of their families. If it had been if it had been so, the way
Mm-hmm.
people are saying it,
mm-hmm.
something would have happened by now to destabilize the country. To make sure
we hope not. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But they are not doing anything. All they want is to be trusted. It's just like whom were we loyal to in 1992 when Jawara brought the Nigerians to come and take command and control, other than the fact that he just mistrusted us. And why? Because they know that the army had no family members of those in charge in it. We do not have anybody whose father is a minister, permanent secretary, responsible person. It was for the riffraff and the school dropouts and the useless people. That's how they used to look at us. So I think that is why they did not trust us, because they did not treat us fairly. Because if they had had the son of a minister, permanent secretary, and so on, that guy will go home and tell their fathers, what we are eating in the camp is garbage. Where we are sleeping, you don't even put your child there, and they will improve it. They could. So you treat us, or you will not send them to Liberia and say, if they are killed, let them be buried there. Let them not be brought back home for burial. And that's what happened to the first casualties, Sama Jao and Lamin Bojang. They were sent to, if that was the son of the permanent secretary minister of defense, or Sadauda's uncle or brother, or somebody, you think they will let him be buried in Liberia and forgotten? When the family members that day, in fact, the Nigerians provided C-130 aircraft to lift the dead bodies and bring them home. And they said, don't bring them home. Bury them there. That's where they died. Any army you do that to, that army is closed. You try that in the military in America, that president will step down that day. Because, it's reciprocal. They did not treat us fairly. They treated us like garbage. And when you put in garbage, you expect garbage. If you want me to be loyal to you, make sure you give me something that makes me feel that I have a stake in maintaining what keeps you there. But if you run into trouble, 1994, every soldier, apart from those who came out to fight and ready to fight, every soldier ran away. Officers ran away. Senior officers ran away. And, the Nigerians ran away. The presidential guard and the TSG who were supposed to resist, they all surrendered. In fact, turned their berets and joined the fight, because they were all poor. They were all from the same group of people, the same abandoned herd of Gambians who were nothing. So, don't tell me that, they are mistrusted because of Jammeh. No, they are mistrusted because they know their people are not there and they are not treating them fairly. They cannot depend on them in the event there is a crisis that faces them. But whether it is sustainable for foreign forces to stay here indefinitely, to keep that dynamics, is another food for thought for everybody.
Thank you, Binto. Let's look about the deportation now. There has been a worrying for many Gambians in the diaspora and home in terms of insecurity. Is the Gambia government in position to properly integrate the deportees?
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know much about the treatment they were giving the deportees, but again, it is one of those negative consequences, I will say, of Jammeh's removal from power. You know, because I was at the United Nations. Not only Jammeh was not only defending the need for migrants to go to Europe to explore or benefit from the resources built from impoverishing Africa, but he defended them and protected them and talked for them and said Europe must welcome them, because when Africa was rich and a greener pasture, he used that word, Europe came and impoverished us and turned us in a green pasture. And, you know, at some point even, he sponsored a resolution at the United Nations coming between 2015 up to the time he was out of office, which was gaining traction, that the Europeans and the Western world should come up with a Marshall Plan like they did after the Second World War and repair the damage they did in Africa to make Africa attractive enough to stop people from migrating, which will be beneficial for both Europe and Africa. In that case, the luxury they have been enjoying for too long and their stability, the paradise they built, will not be threatened by the migrants, you know, overwhelming their population and their budgets, even their security. Because now the Europeans and West, they are spending billions and billions of dollars just to prevent migrants from coming in. That is a difficulty. France, they used to sit down, drink tea. You know, now you cannot do that. Everywhere armed guards are watching for jihadists to come and kill you because they destroyed the Arab world too. So we said, if you repair Africa, that is one major hurdle you will solve, because, you know, it will benefit your security. It will also benefit our people. And it, to be honest with you, we were selling it and people were buying it. He was committed, and he put it to us also that if anybody should want to deport Gambian in America or so, and they ask for a travel document and you give it to that person, you are in trouble. So it was like no deportee will be accepted. And that is why Gambia was a serious transit hub for migrants, because they were not only dealing with rogue elements of the security forces to get documents, but when they go to Europe, they all claim to be Gambians when they are not. Most deportees who come in Gambia as Gambians, sometimes we know they are not Gambians. They come and cross and go to Senegal, or they cross to go to Ghana with documents of Gambians. Because Gambia was not only a, you know, like I said, migration, you know, living hub, but, you know, security forces deal with documents. And when you go there and claim to be a Gambian, they know Jammeh is not going to accept deportees. Now, Jammeh left, you know, that is all gone. Now it is like, hey, nobody is going to stop this anymore. So more are coming. And then, unfortunately, it coincided with the pandemic. The pandemic, nobody really envisaged, nobody thought about this ever happening. The last time it happened was in 1918. And we are still to go long way before we have an all clear. It is going to bust a lot of economies. People are going to find it very hard to survive. Even Europe is finding it difficult to survive. America, the same thing, let alone poor countries like this. So we need very smart minds to navigate our countries to the next turn of events. But, you know, like, so we have to live with this. So I don't even know whether the Gambia government, I'm not saying that they don't have it, but I will not blame them.
Hold on.
They don't have a solution.
Okay. Fofana.
Yes, Bindu.
Time is running out. We've been holding him for a while. So we're just going to open the line just for a few calls. Uncle Sarr, our viewers, we have our community here, they have to talk to you directly. We might not be able to ask all their questions, but they can call through, okay?
No problem.
Hold on. Caller. You can start calling. Caller, you are welcome. But we demand respect. Okay, caller.
Thank you, Bintu.
Okay, you are welcome. What's your name again?
This is Brother Shering Cheta calling away from Spain, Madrid.
Yeah, for our records. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I would like to emphasize myself in Mandinka, and then, and I hope Mr. Sarr and Mr. Fofana, and then the listeners will appreciate it, or they will understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I will try to translate it.
No, I understand Mandinka. I understand Mandinka. I need her to speak English.
It has been a while.
Yeah,
Mr. Fofana, Baltentulambali Jaila. Professor Sarr, Baltentulambali Jaila. Because I will call him a professor. All right. Indeed, a great program. And then, Mfananataka, Kweksono Domandina Sotoka, Mr. Sarr Yininkala. And then, Nakul Men Sotomea, I didn't agree with it. And she will find Yininkano. It's a suggestion and Dimoli.
Go ahead.
Okay. Alla diamo kono, al diamo la TRRC, alla lawyer, and imbibe statemento, kuma jamal el fota, and then, Nina ta bejibe, Mr. Sari full analyze nyameng I landi nyameng, maybe he's not 100% agree with TRRC, and it's like TRRC failed to okay. And ala black limbe me yalonko, that make me feel so sad. Wala muko. Some times ago in TRRC, programo belari nyame, it is just like witch hunting. Nimujola ala titaninten, and I disagree with that.
Okay.
As a professor, and then namutako, some elements bege me yalonko atele olon tolti. Security laborato. Bladol bege mandinkolu coming for don't futata nengota buka sayinka yenak moment because as far as it been to be try kan ka put jam wala muko let's unite mandinka jola surwa fula every tribe in the Gambia and then ninti asuto mol lafam na diamol kono we will not even mention tribes na diam come Gambianolo but in Ghana tribe fang mention na diamol kono because it will lead us to nowhere. Why I say this? Kujamal lel tambita Gambia Bangkok. Nto ladindi ya watola. And then, for in 2016 birim falendro keta, we are still following the Kujamal lel follow. TRRC nata. I am not agree with them with all what is happening. Of course.
It's a summarized demand. It's a call daughter.
Thank you. Okay. I didn't agree with them with all what happened because they are also human. They are not perfect. But one thing I love about TRRC, ngamen kanu TRRC la kuoto, intesering, wala muko. Bintu fulani fulamenye taka fulani yoma kunu, purunga Gambia kendo soto, walel mankitan na banko lukan. Birin Jamela regime, Jawara regime, anin from bimbe menkono. What a sign, TRRC felana katandi mol la ko. Ninamala eroti, Ninamala mistake, Ninamala mistake. It shouldn't happen like that. Lua mantarateng. And B, in our security, so yarol kono police ol kono mobe yalo ne B, a yara fandung, mo manya na julo bulalang kangola, ka fonye ko, ta yadun di bakono. Because niyake, ite fangola akonying ke, amanke komen ko, wanyatong ponyim wale bulala yake. Then, ubenna banko sambakula, and I love that. TRRC be menkeka. So, another second parliament, wale alabantan diamo men foka about Jammeh, President Jammeh. Momor niko Jammeh man do ko ke Gambia aba nakarelal. Mandin ko luko. Wulo wuli ata nyaw nyandala nyinko yo so diala. Wala mutonyati. Jammeh, we had it. But Jammeh in Western world a problem, we all know it. Okay. It's all because of these homosexualities and inkujama and Jammeh ala diamo kangol men yalonko. Akasaya landige. So people saw him as a dictator and nobody and a leader doesn't talk like that. Okay.
Okay.
I had Jammeh pangola kumakangol lelmunintako. Alikana namolu. Narsi deport, but don't kill them. You have no right to kill them. Nothing else. You have no right to kill them. You can deport them, but you have no right to kill them.
Okay.
No la moya la kumakangol kono. But something else could all be jamme fongola tinna Gambia no porta Gambia la because jamme fongola tinna banko ko tamol nyaadunta Gambia no la Nigeria Ghana this West African men yalon ko be ni bi ani bi Gambia ba problem o kono because of jamme.
Okay.
Why?
Thank you, caller. I'm the caller daughter. Yes. Ngela opinion on my.
Thank you. Opinion is clear.
Thank you, Sering. Thank you. Yeah. Mbe time limit le deal. We don't have time too much. Thank you, Sering. Hello, caller.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah. Todi Madu. Ibiri mintina.
Lamin Hydra.
Haidara nga Uncle Sam Sarr le soto jambi. Bismillah.
Ha bi ngalong be kontona bake Samsudeen Sarr. Ning fofana bankitam bari mate be nan kontona baple happy birthday.
Thank you mbare.
Yo ni kajambe table bakang full dibita bake dol beje wol man faham bar dol faham tale.
Okay.
Bawo kangola karoni nem problème to demandi. Yo bari na on fahamo mendin na bunda dol to Uncle Samsudeen Sarr la diamo kono amen understand bunda jama ba beje ntala fahamo ay tan ko maybe aba fon defense kan ndong abe jambe panang defense kam bunda dol la ya fam okay ni nata jube Gambia la security sector reform me ya kumande kake it is very important akumata baba kala purkake kado hadamadin jama bala beje me ya lonko inin jambe man do kono amancha ko do kuno balya hani jambala man lafila alafta ya puri jawya men kan tin kole man so walla ay dol bute ay dol bay banko kan ya understand so nin falin keta mon na ta fahamu ko nyinni nyina keta banko kan nyina tana nyenyim bay dalilo tabula kan andon alafta ya la kan tilimbalya kan wala tana yi bay santul be samanna ne no dajiga kendo ta ya dundin na kantar bundañin kono o kummata baba kala pour ko security sector reform ninke ando flanyaw fanan academic fo ngaje ko nin percentage lem taba flala ko atle agree TRRC fi ay 10% ron na soto je 90% obe aw be withdraw le ka be deny ya fam ando TRRC is very important in the Gambia katu yen karandila kaitan din to loko alla banko la loi beten ando alla hada madiya fon la loi beten an sariyan fon al beje ten alla kama beje ten
okay
sabanjang wolum nyintigo filomen kedan to la mol fata la malo be damen sanji tan ani lulu mol fata ila mol malo be damen na talon kon na mol be damen ga duanyi malke ko kuma ta baba kele
okay
yan kalamta andum aka bunda men fanan fo de TRRC la bunda nyinto kar kan ota ke kali ntol muslim molati ni christiano leben na banko kan ni nata ko be lala ko be tonya ala fa ala ko ni be kala ye kala ta alala ni be kala ta alala ye kala fen fen do ye fulala kafa inyante kala ala ko be na tonya ala fa kato wala mu muslim mola daji ko wala mu christiano fa na daji ko
okay thank you
yana kuma mo
okay
barangalon kuma dala be ciare ba diam ben da na buri
yes thank you okay
Menna da ka sifatam fansu ko sorry 1 second me sifatam fansu ko Sri Lanka in Spain mba tentula bake mba jela la nyum maka nyumanyin kan because kila wala fontole sallallahu alaihi wasallam aka ta'assub da'uha fa innaha
lafta fenne clarify la Sarr man amang sifatam fansu sambana
ani mo fode
yes.
yalo nyi ya folo ko men ka foko in TRRC kateka CJ flota aje ko e ka comment ka ni mujola te nyimi fonkol ten wala fra tala karakilon la ya fa mu nyame ngol wala comment ni ngol senandi ko ay kuma kilin samana de fatam fansu ko pour banko kan salofe ni atra ko ya fa mu nyame wala be kering ko mu kuja u balade bawo to la dinoye ya marra ko al fata wala mu kulati mi alon ka nyawntale o manyan na kela
okay thank you
nabe man kutol fananto hadamadun la society to na damal kerinyo to sanan na banko kan na katake ngo boni na kokono kato abe yankan kato sila hadamadun wala alkiyama
okay abaraka kola thank you
so much.
I am so glad mbe in conversation okay kan I want to make something clear alkana mira ko okay kola do fele hello caller I have one more call to go apart from this one. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Caller Todi Madu. You want to speak in English?
No, any language, any local.
Yes,
Gambian
okay.
local
Itodi Madu.
Betom Suleiman Jaile.
Okay, Birimintin Nanjai. Imum Baringolt.
Yo.
Okay, Birimintin.
Yo, first of all, I wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Fofona Fanan Kontom Baba. Anina Keba Samsudeen Sarr. Me alongo I'm an expert when it comes to security matters in the South region. So ntenga question follow lesson.
Okay.
Question follow. Because ngal ne imang idea jama soto about the security.
Hanifen masot.
Security sector reform. Ntela mira roto because ngamo ka foko gonta fana manke security expert ntenga IT le. But ngamo le ka ko downsize and then right size.
Oh, downsize.
Downsize and then right size. I think Mr. Samsudeen Sarr abo clear and la.
Okay.
So ntela zero to Gambia we are talking about military official Mimsoto is about 6,000 to 7,000, between 6 to 7. I'm not too sure the right number. So until after Gambia will for that number of security, number for 6 to 7,000.
Okay.
That's number one. What on the number one question?
Okay. Good.
Number two, na question do minti Gambia betilo minto be kabring 2016 kabring jamme tata up to today. I'm talking on my own observation in Gambia. But it's looking like Gambia is going into a francophone colony.
Okay.
Because this regional police force that they wanted to bring in Gambia next year, which are all francophone countries. So after I work clear the Molian.
Okay.
Understand because we started from the problem all kon. So need more nothing from other countries. Me along go France kangolo for ya nothing small Gambia me along go mini from France kango moeje. That's why the fact Gambia Senegal is surround. Amansia. So after I will clear the more demanding understand the security well and concern because security is everything.
Okay.
Without security, I don't think Gambian what we all talking about here be focusing be possible. So mal tentula baba ke pintu.
Thank you.
The time utara bake the Mr. Sarr fanan konton na ni Mr. Fofona. Allah baraka.
Thank you. Okay. Uncle Sarr.
Yes.
Okay, those two questions, hang on. I have one more call. That's it. Then you will answer all the... Hello?
Hello?
Hello, are you there?
Hello? Yes, I am.
Mr. Chor?
Yeah, you can shoot in
For Chor on the line.
Yes, welcome.
Yes, welcome. We can hear you.
Yes.
We can hear you.
All right. First of all, quickly, John, I want to take this opportunity to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And an opportunity for us to thank you very well, very much. Even efforts being taken for more awareness face in terms of politics, economy, and the issues in our country. Nde nga mbal be jay la fana nga fofona jay malo ko fofona ko jaran ko lombo fofona mun do bari ni jaran ko lombo ni jaran ko de ko konton. However, I want to just take this opportunity to kan na Uncle Tank. That is our living legend, Sam Sarr. I'm not saying this because I am APRP or what he's saying about Janet. You know, when I was in my epic as a youth activist, I was the Secretary General of Lamin Football Association. Then the government PPP, they dissolved the GFA. And Sam is now a leading legend. WO interim committee set up as the secretary to the GSA, secretary to the interim committee. He is leading under Bamoilale. Wakama, Dekatafana Motimia control forces supernavigano organized our the secretary working under him. So he has given his selfless service to the country, covering those times, even serving in the army. So today, we molde GSF la, victory celebrate la. He is one person in the coming time for putting that foundation. Apart from that, he has started writing.
Can you guys hear?
Enlightening Gambian people when I was going to school.
Yeah.
And wrote a book, Meet Me in Conakry. And other things that he has done. So he is just fulfilling what he has already done. So we are being enlightened, communicating. And what I want to say is, the security is so important that we should not have been very paranoid with what Gambia did and what APRC did, because it will be a recipe of insecurity. We don't want to move like forward as a nation to reconcile. The TRRC link about the link and the people who were given positions of responsibility, privileged positions, they will come and say they have lied to the TRRC. They will swear by the Quran or do anything. The second time they are given chance, they said, I have the first thing I said, I lied. So which one are we going to believe? Our objective for the TRRC is to get the truth and reconcile us. So in coming to the let us not all the time name the social media to multi opinion program, whatever facts program. Because people like Sam and others deserve respect. They are living legends that we should learn from. So, Ndete Jaila Binta Jata Ba, in fact, the Babundila Jele, because full of Wolotide, and in the Popana, I'll be doing Kendo Minna, because Alcam will invite them, regardless of their political affiliation, okay, someone and people hear from them and make a well informed judgment. And I want to thank Sam for that. But other things, other than that, Allah Baraka. For next program, can be Uncle Fongal Evidence.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Allah Baraka.
Thank you, Chor. Fofana.
Yes, Bindo. I think we'll allow Sam to answer one or two questions.
No, we are even. Okay, we cannot take any more call. That was the last call. I am sorry, callers. I am so sorry they are here. They want to call. I am sorry, but this is what it is.
Let's hear Sam again about the foreign security forces coming after 2021 election. Somebody is very concerned about that.
Yeah. Okay. What I want to say is, he is called Professor. He is called the Legend. He is called. Which other name do we need to say?
A colonel.
all I can say. Fode and the callers and the riders down here, Uncle, we're just grateful. So you and Fofana continue, and the caller that called and asked about the downsize and the right size, and so we will ask that too. So go continue with Fofana. Sorry, callers, this is it. We're not taking any more calls. We run out of time. Fofana, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Sam, somebody talked about foreign, security is coming over, foreign police forces coming over to take over the police duties in the Gambia. What will be the role of police officers when those, foreign officers occupied our land? Is it that they are going to be?
Okay, that's another very, very dubious arrangement that is not known to many Gambians. We just saw it in the press. And we don't know the implications. But I was with the impression that by now, I would have started hearing people like Khalifa Saleh, the dynamos of the National Assembly, and all those vocal people who always want to put Gambia on track if they are going out of track, to start at least asking about the prospects of this deployment and its implications. I was, of course, expecting them to start with the current economic and try to look at, or even the presidential guard, which is Senegalese, to ask the executive to bring it to the National Assembly for them to study the implications and its sustainability in the event one of the people who signed the agreement is out of the equation. But they are not saying anything as if it doesn't exist. So all that dynamism I used to see in them, to me, is been compromised by some reasons I don't know. But I think it is very important for them to have started with that. And if they couldn't question that, I don't know who will question what will happen in 2022 if we see troops coming in on an agreement that is restricted to the knowledge of the executive. Who am I? I am not even employed by the government to now say it is wrong or right, or we could approach it in this way or that. But I wish I could know what the implications are to give you my honest opinion on whether it is good for us or wrong for us. In general, I have this perception of foreign troops are not good at all in somebody's country. I have lived through it. I've seen it fail over and over. So repeating it, gives me flashbacks of some nightmare that I think could come to happen again. So, I mean, that is what I can tell you about it. I wish I knew what is applicable. I don't know. I just don't know, because I don't know the implication. That's one. I don't know whether I have answered your question right, but I think it should have been the responsibility of the National Assembly or even the political parties now. The political parties, the opposition political parties, are talking about how they're going to change the Gambia, bring employment and so on, but nobody discusses about how to take care of the 800-pound gorilla in the room that we don't know what to do with, and that is the foreign forces in the country, whose presence they have no control over. The presidential guard, whether they're going to continue protecting the next president after 2020, after the next election, if Barrow should lose it. And all those things should have been part of the agenda or their manifestos into looking how to approach this. But nobody is doing that. So it looks like nobody knows what they are doing. They just, hoobala, let's just do it. I want to be president. I will bring this. But they don't know that the fundamental issue that should hold their governments together is put on a very fragile plane. That they're not sitting on anything solid to depend on tomorrow. I hope that is enough. Or if you don't,
okay. Thank you. Your explanation is clear. Thank you. Another caller mentioned, when we were talking about TRRC, that maybe you are trying to bug yourself, about the whole issue of TRRC, and we learned that somebody mentioned.
I'm trying to work.
Back yourself, about the TRR issues, and we have learned that somebody mentioned, I think Mbalo Kante mentioned you in TRRC that you tortured him. Is that really? Is that true?
Yeah. I have written and talked about it over and over that Mbalo Kante was lying. If you listen to Mbalo Kante's testimony, you will know that he was lying, because the reasons why he said he was being tortured the first day he was arrested was because he was denying his involvement in the attack, and we were beating him to confess. Until the following day, he said, when they captured Yankuba, I think Drame, is it Esa Drame? Yankuba Drame, no, Yankuba. I think it's Yaya Drame, sorry. The following day, when they arrested Yaya Drame, that's when Yaya Drame recognized him, because they were about to release him, and that is when, Yaya Drame say, oh, that's Mbalo Kante, and that's when they realized that he was part of it, which was not true. Mbalo Kante, they arrested him in a hospital, the way he was dressed, and everybody, one day knew he was a rebel. And they brought him. In fact, I was not in the country that day. I came the next day, because I was in North Korea, I was in France, that's where I learned about the attack. So when I came, I did not even go to the NIA until the 2 days after, when they reported from the NIA that the rebels said Senegal paid them to invade the country. and that Edward Singate, who was the Minister of Defense, sent us message that we should mobilize troops from Yundum Barracks and Farafenya Barracks to attack Kaula. I couldn't do that. And where this information was. And when I came to the NIA, Balo Kante was swearing that it was from him. It was true. When Yaya Drame was saying it's not true. So they were torturing Yaya Drame, and Balo Kante was sitting down there. And I said, it doesn't make sense that Senegal will sponsor this kind of lousy attack in the Gambia. I was angry. My reaction was more impulsive. When I took an action towards Balo Kante, I was caught by Baji. I did not do anything to him. But Balo Kante is a pathological liar. Before the transition, Balo Kante came and sought help from the diaspora that when they arrested him at the NIA, they put charcoal, pot, hat, and took his trousers and made him to sit there, and that all his ass is born. He is seeking help. He never told them they cut his nipple. And they sent him a lot of money. When he came to the TRRC, he did not talk about his butt being born, but the cut nipple that nobody saw about, nobody heard about. He said he cured himself. Even Ngor Seka confirmed that when he was talking about being tortured, he only said they put some nylon on his stomach, but nobody cut his nipple. His nipple was cut in Liberia. He was a rebel. He was a mercenary. He was not covered by Geneva Convention. This guy survived to explain himself today. He was just painting my picture as a bad guy because I spoiled his deal and stopped Gambia from fighting Senegal that day. And he was angry that it happened. I was very angry with him, and I saw him that I was very angry with him. I did not torture him. I did not even touch him. I made an attempt to kick him, but they held me. And that was just an impulsive reaction from an anger. Just like when they run into a thief in the streets, you beat him up. This impulsive is not torture. Look at that killer in Sanyang. They beat him up until they almost killed him in the streets before the police rescued him. And if that's human reaction to a situation that when they are frightened and when they are disgusted, it's not torture. Is a systematic, infliction of pain on somebody to say something out of force of that pain, or make him do something out of that phase of that pain. None of that existed because we knew who Balo Kante was. He was a rebel, and after that, look at even John Damfa. Damfa said that when I came to the NIA and found them there, they complained that they were not given food, and he said from that day on, they were eating until they were throwing the food. Because I asked the army headquarters to feed them adequately. Suleiman Sarr said that when I came, I even forgot that he told me, I met him one day, he said, when you came and found us there, we were lying on the ground, you brought us mattresses to sleep on mattresses. Why would I treat those people like that and want to torture this idiot? So Balo Kante is a pathological liar. Whom I don't know why Esafal is trying to defend him because he was Charles Taylor's rebel, but he did not even deserve to live. These are mercenaries. The mercenaries are slaughtered the way they slaughter our people. They came, surprised them. Balo Kante used to come to the barracks to play volleyball before the attack, to study the armory, the situation, was drinking attire. They will give him money, give him food, and he left. He looked like a small rat who is very pitiful. After that, he went to his home, deceived his parents that he had cars in Dakar. The only cattle they had, they sold it and give him the money to bring the cars. But he went and bought a gun. I swear to God, his parents came to the army headquarters and said, we should kill him. They said we should kill him because the only thing they had in their life was taken away by this monster who was away for so many years. They thought he died. They have performed the charity that he died. Now, he came and took the only source of money they had and wasted it. They regretted that he survived. So everything that Balo Kante was saying is a lie. So, I will not, under any circumstances, say, agree to that. And, because I was not there. The first day, I was not there. I came 3 days after. And after that, I even saw my people being slaughtered. They killed our boys. They were armless. Some were from the Juma, 5 a.m. Baji had his kasabayo over his neck. He was killed brutally. So, like sitting here trying to make Malo Kante a saint and me trying to defend the country a devil, you guys don't know what the heck you're talking about. And I'm not going to ever accept to that nonsense from anybody. Sorry for being this part, but I think people who are saying that don't know what they are talking about. They should have called me to the TRRC. They will not. They will not. With all the advanced mention of Samsudeen Sarr from the beginning to the end, nobody has called me. I have made efforts to go there. Nobody is calling me. Let them call me. I'm not going to go by their terms and conditions of interviewing people, but I will tell them the truth and who they are, that they are not unifying the country, they are dividing the country, and things are rupturing to an uncontrollable situation that we cause the country put the country in a regrettable situation. So I don't know whether I have answered your question, but this nonsense question has come to me over and over because of these prejudicial guys. In fact, I even have some fools saying that they are still raising funds for him and he should write a book. This idiot who said all his life he's never been to school. All he did in his life was to be a farmer. Later on went to Libya to hustle, and they took them in a military camp to train. He said they forced them. He was lying. They were part of Kukoi. And the next thing they went to Liberia, murdered almost 200,000 people in the jungles of Liberia. And you think this guy is a good guy over Samsudeen Sarr, everything that I have done in this country? Thank you for the chore, for telling them that when the Gambia government had the Football Association disintegrated, I was the Secretary General who helped to revive the Football Association of this country. And we went to Freetown, and a zone day that we almost won. Senegal beat us by 1 goal, and it was a cheat. When we came here, we were given the greatest celebration because of our performance there. We beat Ghana 3-0, beat all these countries. And we did a tremendous job. For the church, I'm glad you remember that. I wrote books that are being read in the sub-region in schools. Meet Me in Conakry, one of the best contemporary books. But Gambia is not using it because Samsudeen Sarr is a bad man. The people like mentalities of Esafal are the people who see me. Oh, this is a Gambian Sam Sarwa Serakundala. Let's not read his book. It's stupid. And this is set in the Gambia.
Where is your book at? Where are you selling it? Amazon?
Gambians were using your book. We are using your book in the high schools. We read about, Meet Me in Conakry.
It was never part of the syllabus. But it was never part of the syllabus. They just read it out of.
No, when you are doing literature, that book was part of the syllabus. I read about your book when I was going to high school.
I was recommending.
Meet Me in Conakry, and then you go through circumcision and so on. Yes, I read about the book.
So, so what I'm just trying to explain, I am not bad. I am not that evil. I have caught a thief in my house who stabbed me many times before I disabled him. And the whole neighborhood came, said they were going to kill him because a few weeks before, some thieves killed the neighbor. And they came with machete, everything, and said they were going to kill him. And I stopped them, put him in my car, took him to the police station. When I arrived, they said, why did you let the people kill him? This guy is a nightmare. If I am not that kind of bloodthirsty, that was a good guy to kill. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in torturing people.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Bintu, I have this one question for Sam.
Yes. The downsizing and the right sizing, right?
Downsizing and right sizing. No, downsize and right size.
Yes, right size of the security forces.
Yeah, but after he said another question. Yes.
No, he talked about whether we need the 7,000 members of the armed forces. And also what is downsizing and right sizing. Downsizing is self-explanatory in that you reduce the number of the army. Right sizing is to its right size. What is a right size is relative to probably the needs of the country. Yes, they want us to cut down the number of personnel in the army and bring it down to a number that is acceptable to the standard Gambia may need. But what does Gambia need as a standard is relative to who is assessing the situation. It's not definitive. I think one of the reasons why they are dragging their feet. And what criteria are you going to use to downsize? That's a difficult one also, because you're not going to say that, because they were saying that Jammeh has promoted a lot of people on conditions that are meritorious. But, you know, the Barrow government has done the same thing. I have seen a captain being dragged from the streets and employed for 22 years and turned into a general who has not done anything to merit that. So are we not doing the same thing that Jammeh is doing? How are you going to, or are you going to take, who are you going to say he doesn't deserve to stay when there was no promotion standard or employment standard that they violated to warrant that kind of downsizing? But above all, let me put it this way, you know, it is come to a point where the military now is an employment creating, employment source, source of employment, let me put it that way. You know, and, you know, if you throw all those guys in the streets, in this pandemic, with these deportees, you are adding more fuel to the fire of our instability. In 2008, when Obama came into power, listen to the story. The first intelligence he got, which he said was nonsense, was that America was maintaining one of the most expensive nuclear fleet in the world, which are submarines. They were built for the expectation of a major war between the Soviet Union and the Western Bloc. Communism versus capitalism. But communism collapsed, and they are maintaining all these military outfits with all the cash. In fact, multi-billion-dollar industry that they will never happen. It will a war that will never happen. Because the type of war they were bracing for, if it had happened, it could end the war. Now nobody wants to end the war. So people are even thinking about detente, reducing nuclear warheads, and try to coexist peacefully in a small war, global war. And Obama said he was going to reduce these nuclear submarines tremendously because it's a waste of money. But they assessed the situation and said, in the first round, you are going to create 700,000 unemployment of high-paying jobs that sustain the middle class of America. That is another recession you are talking about. And we are not talking about those who supply them equipment, those who supply them spare parts, uniforms, their food, and so on. You're talking about another over 1 million people who depend on their survival on this. The state could sustain them. You know, the state could sustain them. These stimulus checks you are seeing, paying people are staying at home. The state could sustain them to keep stability and orderliness. You know, we are maintaining this army to keep stability and maintain and orderliness as long as the government can pay them and keep them employed. If you bring them out, what are you going to do with them? So this is why I don't argue too much with this. In fact, I think I could have utilized these 7,000 men better than they are being utilized now in the absence of foreign forces. I can put them at work and they will do for the Gambia what the Gambia needs to keep it safe and stable. Yes. Have I answered that question too?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think he's watching, he's happy. But there's this one question before we let you go. Fofana, there's this one question. We have to ask this question. You remember Honorable Fabakary Tombong said, one day we will fight a guerrilla fight to get our sovereignty from Senegal. And Honorable Maifati said something similar to that. Uncle Sarr, should we be worried about Senegal with our sovereignty?
The only thing we are to worry about Senegal is that if Senegal wants to impose their authority over us in the way everybody thinks they are right now, it will collapse eventually. Because as much as we are the same people, the same tribes, the same culture, when it comes to government, we are different. And our colonizers really drew a huge wedge between the two countries and the two peoples, or governments, for that matter. Our living together is unchangeable. We're going to live together forever, and whether we like it, we are going to. What I see between Senegal and Gambia should be left more on an evolutionary process than a revolutionary process. Revolutionizing it and bringing governments to force people into agreeing on things that they are suspicious about will not cut it. Like Senegal, they have a very arrogant approach towards Gambia. Cross-border arrest, cross-border shooting, coming to the Gambia to do that in the name of hot pursuit is all nonsense. Those things don't help solidify the kind of cooperation that will be reciprocal in benefit for both countries, and reasonable to the Gambia. So I think we can work with Senegal on a platform that will make the Gambians feel it is mutually beneficial and based on a respectable agreement that is not showing the predominance of one over the other. That if we do it, I think we can go a long way and leave the evolutionary part, bring us to where we will not recognize the difference between each other. I think, and to go there, we have to even look into the syllabus of our schools, which will take a long process to get us to that level. Like we can turn and work out a combined educational syllabus between Senegal and Gambia that will groom our infants to understand the culture and language of both French and English. By the time they grow up, they will be so bilingual that you can graduate in the Gambia and walk into Dakar and work there in an office. And you will be you can leave Dakar and come here and walk into an office and work, and they will be accepted because you are well bilingual. In fact, I will even go further to add an extra language of an Arabic, because the next language would be Arabic, which is North. You should be able to work in Gambia, Mauritania, and Senegal. If we can bring in Portuguese rather, which is not the better. But we have to look at our syllabus and tailor it to suit this approach towards unification that will not create suspicion. Otherwise we will live as the French dictate Senegal, and which is opposed to how the English built Gambia. That is why, with all this agreement we have between Senegal and Gambia since 2016, we say it's the best since ever independence. Senegal has still locked their borders to us. They don't allow our traders to go across Senegal to Mali without being taxed, and they don't allow before Malians, Guineans, Guinea-Bissau. They used to come and shop in the Gambia, and they used to call it the supermarket of West Africa. They stopped it since 1989 because they don't want the economy of the Gambia to undermine their economy, because our tariffs are lower. And if we are to raise our tariffs to their level, we have to also raise our cost of living and our income to their level. Do we have that budget? All these have to be put into perspective before we say we can go with Senegal to the end. So you see, we are just fooling ourselves, trying to live on something that is unsustainable. And I think this is a big thing that the whole country should look into, National Assembly and everything, to move forward. Even our judiciary is different, the way we work and the way Senegal. But like I said, a syllabus that is going to combine the administrative, economic, and cultural ingredients that keep the states together, the functions of the state, if we harmonize them and teach it to our kids from infancy, in the next 10, 15 years, you will see tremendous change appreciated by everybody. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please, Facebook share us, YouTube, give us a subscribe and share this information. Share this information.
It is a wonderful discussion. Samsar is a star.
Look, I'm gonna name this show. This one is part A. This is part 1. So we will have a part B. We will have a part B, Uncle. We will have one. We will come back for you and have a part B.
I want him to, before we wrap up, I want him to just answer this question I have for him. We learned that you were arrested before leaving the source of the Gambia. We want to know what led to your arrest. And
what do you mean?
We learned that you were arrested and jailed before you left the source of the Gambia. We want to understand.
Talking about 1994.
Yes. We want to understand what led to your arrest.
Yeah, 1994 coup, like I always say, it was a coup d'etat. Coup d'etat is very fluid. Most countries, when they organize coup d'etats, senior officers to those who organize the coup are rounded up and executed. They are executed. Nigeria does it, Gambia, Ghana did it, Sierra Leone, Liberia, they did it. They rounded up all the senior officers and killed them. We were lucky that we were arrested and put in mile 2 because we become a threat to them because, we were their seniors and they know we know better and could do better. So they put us aside to continue their agenda. But what they also fail to understand is that they were always all learning a new situation. That is why the very tactics they used to ground us was the very tactics they used to consume each other. Those who originally planned it, Basiru Barrow, Dotfal, all those people were killed by the system. That's military government. Sana Sabali, Hassan Buhaira, who arrested us without telling us what we do. They were arrested and brought also. Saribu Haidar died in the jail. Edward Singate, who was gung-ho, he was also grounded by Jammeh. It's like a coalition. The gang that organized it, they have to remove one another until the commanding force, the commanding individual takes charge. Otherwise the person will never be able to do anything. This is like coalition for. Barrow had to get rid of Seydou Dabo and all those OJs and so on to be able to stand as Barrow running the Gambia. He could not do it with everybody claiming share and stake equally like him in the system. It's the military governments are like that. It's just that in the military government situation, guns instead of the law or instead of this take charge. Even before telling person, oh, I'm going to dismiss you, expect him to suit you. That's what it is. Mengistu Mariam did it in Somalia. The people he organized the coup d'etat with, he waited until they were in cabinet, he walked in with his team, and they machine gun all of them. And he took charge. Those things happen. So these are the things that people should wrap their mind around as the dangers and the implications of military regimes. They are not child's play, sit in a law of court. IEC, this, you should not have behaved that way. You should not have the moment it comes to power and you cannot stop it and you play around with it, expect the consequence to be anything. So I was arrested. It was hard. In fact, they even accused me that I tried to organize a coup d'etat and it failed. But 10 months after, in fact, even before I was released, I was getting signals from Jammeh that don't worry, he was going to release me. Because at that time, he still hadn't got the control he needed. The first release, which was in October, I understand those who were there, my name was on top, written by Jammeh. When Edward took it to Sanasabali, he scratched my name. And they released Captain Sonko, Wilson, and a lot of people, but they left me there. But 10 months after, I was released. In fact, all the captains who were released were sacked from the army, retired, and not allowed to come back. I was released and brought back to the army and made deputy commander, and eventually commander, which proved me right that I was not organizing a coup d'etat. What madman in how have a government and somebody organizes a coup, you got him, jail him and bring him back and put him as army commander. So that was to prove to the world that I did not do anything. It was just part of the excesses of military coup d'etat. That's why I have forgiven them. They were all learning. I'm not going to go to the TRs and say, they take me, you will jail, you're my cherry, you're my boom, you're my, Hey, come on. We got used to this mess. In the end, we used to miss this bad food. I used to get up in the morning and miss the pap, Ogi. I never drank Ogi in my life, but in the morning, when you are hungry, man, I used to miss this because you could put milk and it tastes so excellent. And we all got fat. I'm serious. So what?
We're having fun with Uncle today.
I forgave them. When I worked for the government until 1999, I had a problem with, I was reported that I did something which I did not. Jammeh took measures to retire me again. So I got scared and left the country and came to America. It was hard. It was tough. I felt bad. But America was like a paradise that I would have missed in my world if I had not come there. Because it was the best thing that happened to me with my family. My kids will tell me up to this day, that the best thing you have ever done in my life, in your life, was to bring us here and these opportunities. They are still there. Some are engineers, some are working, and they are happy. They don't even want to come back here. They think I'm a fool sitting in Gambia, not going to leave them there, over there. That's what it is. So it was a success and so on. I know what happened. I understand it. Yes, I understand what happened. And I say, let's bygone be bygone. Let's forgive each other. Like Nelson Mandela said, when we forgive each other, we build a nation. If we want a revenge, we destroy a nation. That's why I am talking the way I talk. And I will continue talking the way I talk. Tomorrow, stand by. My audio is coming. And I'll pass it over to you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
But if Barrow should call you after the show and said, I want you to join me, we need to do something. We need to talk about security. How do I advise me what to do? Would you pick that call?
I can do it for him free. I don't want a pay. I don't want a salary.
Thank you.
Okay? I can do it free. I don't want a salary. If he calls me, I will go and work with him, and I will not take a dime from the government. I hope that's okay.
Wonderful.
Oh my God.
Wonderful.
Samsudeen is looking for a job. I don't need a job.
You don't need a job. You're retiring. Yes.
You're retired, yes. Thank you.
We have fun, but we have to stop. This is part A, so we will bring you back. Formana,
Yes.
say this in Mandinga.
We have to let him go. It's getting late.
It's late. I parked my car in the street, and I am afraid they might tamper with it. I gotta go out and bring it in before it is too late.
Thank you.
Get some kisses.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. We have learned a great deal.
Thank you. Yes, I will go eat mbahal on this birthday, though. That's what I want to eat. Thank you, Uncle. We really appreciate you.
Okay,
thank
bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Fofana. Hey,
yes,
thank you, community. Thank you, community. Nko, every Sunday, you never know, managing Fofana Minnesota under their sleeve. So this Sunday, nga kacha soto nko, Gambiano. Let's be willing to learn. Let's be willing to learn. Na mistake all, we have to learn from those. Kuala minita we have to learn from those. Niaje nga Uncle Sarr Sambana Njambi. Ovana. Ay jawara saf la jamme saf. Anda baluri. Yes. So and that at the United Nations, Bantala Bankolo, na Sita Tubabu, at training na other places. We can learn from our own people. Nkana son tubabo California ala buko read.
Yes, man sakunda nyenda kama bintu wolon kanyimo sifal sabake murundi system onyinko. Mami alon ka aka parete na kadugo Gambia government free amani salary for free. With his wealth of knowledge, I mean sort of about security, ngamira Gambia government nyanta chance tala nying ye sabanang ye lafana security kan isa na security is almost collapsing nimi mbeto nyafol ne Gambia la security situation o julbe bi it's very sad. It's like security for mantra hanging malo muna be caring or muna nyin trigger muna nyin fear put into our security nka wala nyine through our discussions na land demanding karaniko one of it TRRC la ya cause but the Gambia government the appeal still despite TRRC yo sembe kinu murundi na security laba because any mansakunda momo ya ngo emela security upgrade emela security mako yesembo dile doko ke la banko be ferla la banko be ferla because B be more criminal ye different theories lesoto it can apply e la control la mol nimman rely on our own security the big failure soto la mo kana mo ne wala fongam la security use ni ba ya understand ko e dingol bi jay la musul bi jay bal bi janna muyat ne nyim banko tinya ambe kun kanno so definitely janim be jikila bandala mol la nga miracle let's rely on our security Gambian security yenna banko secure nte lata wol thank you Binto
aka betu nga bela for sai nga be for tika fole bar nga pade ele ke mbasa mbala na sinya ko te bara ay ku fanam fo wo tabola kunkono at this moment we need security in the community ako ye soldier role letter in police role soldier role ye back ya understand ye checkpoints role ke soldier role be ye finti na barak solto ye molu ma koy nyin ko min be caring woli ye topato sign but
definitely yes for what si fali ke for ngal soldier role ni tada do ko is like they have no job. Ikatara sirim barakol kono just like that with no weapon, with nothing. Ila morals are down. Jani betlo condition oto ngamira. Samsudeen Sarr. Let's use them. Put in the banta. Na banko sikionye. Nga sembo murundi kangya itandila kovel. Sojarol mantra mansa kilinye. Sojarol ka banko le protect. Amun ka mansa kunda. O president. Do eka tam so do mi ka kali ka president of the day ka defend but doesn't mean ko new president nyim falinda it womari loyalty you should still keep that no like civil servants you serve the government not the president alone ni president or tata you continue your service ila molo ila banku molo ka wala saf ni tulunte fangola ni protect ye fangola protect because ni ko ni be caring Gambia jani ko mi ñoo sol ñoo baramol mo ñi sirakuta min kuma stemting male ko mun kana nan banko kan sa funding kel kam use wala ke ñamandi ka ñoo so murol la tending ka ñoo fa like min happened just recently Brufut ye kende ni njela ni an natalo ji abulol sepu ñame is crazy ye munul la saraje ila ñimma fe njawol droglam and intai ka ñu use tending so it will be very important pour na man sakunda yenna security empower ni man na security empower ite america ne security la moral be destroyer nga nyum banko kan janyame ni command the problem of family it's difficult pour respond because ila fear is nimtata je ni mo fatam bulu jedu ni mo baramatam bulu jedu o mo kilimo le bina use la kan sindi Gambia be nyati la and bully us ni ne fear put into our security but ngamira man sakunda nyanda jiber kila min karola le TRRC taratakan barna security fana ye empower hani American ka human right and democracy communal for us champions when it comes to security imanchakan America is nice but nilungolu yeluwa tonye in America woli kalona America is not nice so ikana tuna security la ngana ngafko mbani human right le sambala nyo security is very important
yes Andu jambe fango fanang birai telefono cheka ko baro do not compromise this country's security. I offer very clear.
Kabira kata. I offer aka Gambia security nene kana compromise.
Yes. So
because I am not a military. Thank you, Binto.
Bovana. Go. Do not miss next Sunday. Often has something under his sleeves. For often I cool us under his sleeve. Ngali ajala I smiso mindu. Do not miss it next Sunday.
Yes, Sunday will be interesting again. Next Sunday.
Yes,
next Sunday will be very, very interesting.
Yes.
Namira no program okela mandika kamala, but abe interest la bakara. So mbe more than you follow next Sunday. Yeah, but
so they cannot miss any of the Sundays. They cannot miss
next Sunday. Jump on Abadiala, inshallah. Concern no follow definitely.
For life. Don't Gambia no, Americano. This not gonna happen. So Ngamobe appreciate. Thank you all very much. Oh, good so. Nko. Mbal tentula mbali jaila. Atole atindan tolbija. So do not miss next Sunday. Alikan na video share. It's not amanka ko nka information of Minsambananja. It's for UDP, it's for Fofana, it's for CA, it's for this. Gambia Bankola Kacha. It's agree or disagree, but share the information. Somebody mobabulo lala kane. I fembondi wa kacha nyingon. Kacha nyimbe, moto be use. But kudo se taraje. Means ntolban kudingol be na fa nimbal Gambia. So wala tina kacha aka important. So Fofana number yebula. Yetela
platform we want to be neutral. You know, momo sambanan jandrombe alawla mimbe sisokono ya fo andum betarle fele ke makoy wala na parti la mol ngi contact break la fi kana nyim platform because of our neutrality. So mbe o maintain na le andum continue la ni ala sonja ala baraka
Fofana read that. Thank you, Lamin. Mbita normal.
Thank you, Mr. Tura. Mbita barofana normal. Inshallah, ambassador.
Nko call us on Serin. Thank you, Serin. Thank you, but MVP daddy ala baraka call for the chor min kada na brother for the chor. Thank you all nga lamin tamba ol beje janne ko nga mo beje janne ngal tentu ngal jey mfangla bakar bijam jamme. Thank you all fofana mbatu yebula.
Thank you, Bingo. Thank you very much.
Santa kana birthday celebration content biba biso dia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh goodness, ngal tentu ngal jayi nko nta kukala na alkoma lai ndolle tam nyimbang kunte fanni mol ya kacha alanga kacha sometimes nita agree la but nte one thing I'm blessed to na ala tentu kukilin la nyim platform atol min kala mo alkan jibe alka participate atol le tam nyim platform what you know nka aka nka kool bondi ñoo kono ñaamen atol kola sola atol min ka safero ka ja respect the wrong maintain. We will hear the good stuff, you know. Nko Uncle Sam legend them professor lem nko aya kata banko ele ñun la founding fathers of security ti banko kam in Gambia dingol yedo kuoke ifangol mo Gambia de inin luntangol min nata over outside security min tankata inata le ni yedo kuoke don't know imando kuoke Gambia do rombare tata training na dulal tole imo sifal jamal le bije you know ibe keba yakam alin kana so ila nonje ila nafaye mambulo ibe keba yakam iko wulula se fengo be tubul ise fengo be ke ta fala londo ni te tamu woti da mal fanan tamu woti ni fata na katale ndaysan alinga muri kan ni sambana yankarande dena ala baraka I love you. Alaji ben kalu muta albuka sudo sunkaro kadala hana konko ya almuta nsalu mutaja ngali yawe hani konko ya almuta sunkaro kon nsali sindija ngali yawe ando nalu man mbe roll call lekala yes mbe roll call lekala ni momo sunte manna mbe to wanyarla ala baraka barako no mod an we missed you mod an are you okay mfama tela atolo na class prefect but it's been a long time I haven't seen him alafu mod an we missed him tamba ala baraka jasi ala baraka mwa haidara maron ala baraka Alicia haidara thank you for your call thank you ala baraka Jame ala baraka YouTube jaman le bije alim message na yes ala baraka thank you oh I have to go I have fun with y'all thank y'all ala baraka